Who's ready to start sanding and priming again? Hey everyone, welcome back to another Saturday video here at Restoration Rescue. I'm Chris, and in today's video, we're gonna be doing some more sanding and grinding, and then we're gonna start painting again. There's a lot of spots here where it spit out some thick primer and left some bumps and some just bad primer out, and there are some splotchy spots that I need to re-go over. Anyway, so what we're gonna do first is we're gonna whip out our grinding stuff and we're gonna grind back some of this paint, or sand back some of this paint and make it flat so that we can come back in here and lay a nice, beautiful coat of final primer. So now it's time to start mixing our primer. So we come back over here, we got our mixing stick, which is just a screwdriver with no handle anymore that I use because I can't really use it otherwise. So mix it up. We're gonna add our epoxy primer activator. Once it's in our cup, mix it up, get it in our gun, and we're gonna start spraying. But this time when we start spraying, we're gonna start on the roof and then go from there. So we're gonna get it nice and thick on the roof, let it dry for a little bit, and then start spraying down so that I have a nice dry coat. Hopefully this will be the last coat and we won't have to put another one. We are gonna try and do a pretty thick coat on this one so it has full coverage, and then go from there. So as you can see, we did quite a bit. We did a lot more than we did last time, and that is because we're gonna do a very, very thick coat. So we did 3, so you pretty much need to fill this thing up to the top to get it where it needs to be for the right amounts. That's okay, we're only gonna fill it up a little bit into our can. Leave that because we have some other things to primer today. So we're gonna get this cab and we're gonna get this other thing primed today, hopefully, if we can get it sanded down. So let's go ahead and lay our really, really thick coat after we put some actuator in this stuff. We're only gonna go with a little bit as we're only gonna be laying down the roof. So let's head over to the cab, get this cap screwed on, get this gun shooting correctly, and get this primer on here. So we have all of the lower part of the cab done actually. We started low and we're gonna work up to the roof, as I think that's gonna be a little bit more simple, because as I was thinking about it, when I'm spraying on the roof, I'm always running and, or when I'm spraying down here, I'm always hitting the roof of my head, and I would have to wait until it's completely dry. We're probably gonna wait a little bit so this isn't so tacky, and it is dry even more. It is looking pretty good. We have some spots that I'm gonna have to touch up again, make it a little bit thicker, but it is looking really good. I am in the process of picking out exactly what paint code that I need for this interior. I'm pretty sure I am almost 99.9% sure we are gonna either go with a fawn poly beige, which is the original style color, or there is a color off of a Nissan from 2003 that has pretty much the same exact color tone, and we'll probably end up doing that. It's either one of those two, it's whichever one I can get pretty quick, as we have a quick turnaround in videos, as we're only 1 week behind. So today is Saturday for next Saturday, if that makes sense. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna let this dry, but we do have some cool things that showed up while we were away. So the FedEx man showed up and he dropped off some really cool stuff. So let's check that out. So as you can see, we have our front fenders as well as our inner fender supports. So that is an amazing progress. We have also over here all of the bolts, so we're gonna need to post this all up. Over here, we also have the grille support panel, which goes behind the front grille. So this truck is definitely coming along. We're gonna probably have to start primering this. Might do a little bit today, might sand it a little bit. It doesn't look horrible, it looked pretty good. I have one spot that came in on the inner fender liner. Let's see if I can get down into it. It might be over here. Yes, I don't know if you guys can see it, but right here, it does look a little bent, so I'm gonna have to do some metal work, but that's not a huge big deal because we've done it before. So while we wait, I might take one of these out, start playing around with it, and get it ready for primering. I am just so pumped to start putting these fenders on that I am ready to start primering them. So after enough fooling around with the fender, it is time to finish up the cab. So we have some spots, as you see, that don't look great right now, but that's because we sanded it down. So we just have to fill that in. We have my gun all filled up with primer and looking good. So now we have to start laying down the primer, as the rest of the walls have started to dry up and look pretty incredible. So let's go ahead and start spraying. Well, unfortunately, for some reason, my gun would not spray in an upward direction. So I did have to bust out and get our primer out of a can. So we are gonna finish priming this up with a spray can, and it is a different color. It is gray, but it's not that much different or a big deal, as primer is pretty much primer, especially since they're both Eastwood epoxy primer. So we're gonna go ahead and spray it and get this thing done. So as you can see, the gray came out pretty nice, even though it's gray. So the only difference between the two is the color. It is not much different. It is still primer. One is just gray and one is white. So they're both from Eastwood, so they're the same makeup, and they are both pretty amazing. The primer in the can came out really good looking, even though it is a can. So I think what was happening is when I turned my gun pretty much vertical or even just a little bit of an angle, it wasn't having enough power to, enough gravity, so to speak, to spray out, which was weird because last week it did. So it is what it is, but we have this, so we may need to go pick up a different style gun to paint the actual color on the roof, because I don't think I can get it in rattle can. So we have it all sprayed out. We have the back perfect. We have the top perfect. We have the floor perfect. So it is ready for color. But that is another day, as we have run out of time this week. We'll see you guys next Saturday when we're either back on the 454 or we're right back here on the C10 trying to get this thing ready to drive down the road.